Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing some Bant Poison. We are having a team event at my local shop, and this deck is going to be represented quite high there, I believe, at least from what I've been told. So I wanted to play it. It did well in a challenge not too long ago as well, so it is a very competitive deck. It does cater a little bit more to that best of 3 area, and it is definitely difficult to play now in the current meta. So definitely be careful on considering crafting this deck, but we're going to go out there and see how it performs and see what we can pull off with the deck list and go from there. So I hope you all enjoy it, and let's just get out there and game. Now we can play Skrell plus Duelist. Skrell. Duelist. Don't have to do much. We just have to get enough poison through. Oh, no. That's tough. That is tough. 4 mana. We have an Emperor in play, Mr. Opponent. Target. Any hope? Sure. All seems good. Play him back out. Don't play Odawara, so we can march it if need be, but I think we'll just pass. We don't want to show them our top card, I don't think. Leave them guessing. Sure. Let it go. Then honestly, I might even not even play the Duelist right away. I might just play this and make 2 mites. We'll just make 2 mites. Their end step. Weird because you only have to start getting it like going, and then they're in trouble if they take way too long to find an answer. And here they are. Our turn. Second march is huge, plus an untap is huge. Creature tokens get -2, -2. 1, 2. Phased out now. So there you go. This is a card for Boros, not for us, but it also happens to work against us. Actually a really cool card. 3 mana, just being able to give tokens -2, -2, and then target creature gets -5, -5. A very devastating card, nevertheless. Now we go to combat, we try. Sure. What is your plan here?
I hope you're ready to lose.
Sweet.
Guards, to me.
Nope. Get a little bit of poison there, and then we're gonna throw this in, hope it kind of sticks. I feel like they would have tried to lock down if they could. Well, they were phased out, right? Not an easy matchup for us regardless, I don't think. So give it the old try if we can. Your turn. We'll proliferate the poison on you, of course. Move to combat. Here. This here and this here. Yeah? Wow. We're gonna get it to happen.
I'll be back.
Free to lose, that makes sense. We do have a march to phase out 2 of these things. And then we just need 1 proliferate plus like a contact with the Duelist and the might. Yeah. This is gonna be kind of funny. The name minus.
I'll help any way I can.
You go up to 1 target artifact. Okay. Here. Phase that out. Untap. Now we have hard counterspell. Lethal. I don't know how we got away with that. I was going to assume they were going to minus. Because if they minus, for each player, choose a creature that player controls, each player sacrifices the rest. I was going to be able to phase out 2, and then we would have kept it. but they also plus, so we got to keep it. And even if they made a 2/2, we would just phase it out and then we'd attack through it. It's actually kind of crazy that no matter what mode they picked on the Emperor, that we actually win the game. Opponent goes first. Yeah, this hand's pretty sweet. On a red. Okay. Interesting. Well, guess I didn't give myself much of a choice there. We'll play that down. I thought about playing Fading Hope first, but I guess I'm big goofy. Fire? Sure. I was going to Fading Hope this and then play it, especially once we drew the March, so I can protect it, but I kind of fumbled the bag, if you would. Let's here we could play to start making mites, but man, we are on the back foot and struggling pretty quickly here. Might have to use this to win the game. Sure. Sure. Oh, you're scared, boy. We have better creatures we can find. Like, Duelist is pretty nice. Especially when we can protect the Duelist. They tap out. We play another Hive. Probably the worst card to have in this matchup overall. I think we're dead. I'm moving on. Wow. I think this might be one of the few times in a couple days I've gone first. This is crazy. I mean, we'll keep, of course. And it's pretty good. Play Skrell. Call it a day. We'll play probably Duelist because it'll be so fast to turn things on here. You have to be ready for Brotherhood in though. That's the only downside. Play Duelist. No attacks. This gets like 4 infect if we give it protection. Ooh. Okay. Let us throw up a spell. 6. Throw up a spell. 6. Attack. I think I'm gonna cash in. I have a weird feeling that they have something. So I'm just gonna get kind of all the infect up already and then get this Rot Priest ready to go along with the snare. I still lose all these to Brotherhood in, but they play another Scry land. Sure. Next. But now I'm just gonna hold up this Grove, I think. We're up to 7. I'm gonna pass. And then I'll just make a Mirrex token, then play a Rot Priest maybe. Turn. Get a token. You have an Emperor? Guess I'll just attack here like I would normally do it. Okay.
I've learned much during my travels. Let me show you.
Like we have the. We'll just go to the next game. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a really good draw to start this off. Get this started, get this Hive going. Our life total based on this land doesn't matter. That's really tough for control a lot of times. Poison, because I can't out life gain it. Although, we have to get there, of course. A little part of me wants to hold up this Bring the End, but I think if I can get the chance to stick this Hive into play, I will. Opponent. Make a play. Thank you. Combat. Attack. I'm not going to commit anything until I try to do something. Not gonna do nothing till they do something. We could also Fading Hope bounce it if they try to like exile it and just replay it. Man, really just having a fit. Or I could just counter this, so I can like ensure that I get a poison kind of attached. I'm actually fine with that. I think it's like a weird thing to play for, but they use the march to get that, try to exile this, but getting a poison on them is so crucial for whenever we do things that have that proliferate type text, and also drawing into more bring the ends eventually. Land, pass, attack. Now normally I'd love to play a hive here, but I have a feeling that this is a counter spell, and I'm not really looking to play into it. I'd much rather try to force this in on their end step, and maybe they'll do something weird like Emperor or Lockdown or something like that here. Yeah. Take 2 mites. I have a counter spell. This is what it would be for. Cards of the Mites is like the hardest card to deal with, really. It's a card that kind of catches you off guard, like you're not quite ready for it anytime. Just because of the way that it works, you're just like, oh yeah, this is a creature-based deck, and then eventually on your end step to like make 2 more. Like, you always have to think of when one of these hit, it is 10% of your life total, and that is a very hard kind of thing to grasp. And it's not just 10%; it is 10% permanently. So it's definitely like a more awkward way to have to deal with something like this. I'm really hoping it's like bring up an anchorage and try to block, and I'm gonna bounce there. I'm gonna bounce it, and that is going to set them so far behind if I get lucky enough to do so. You're gonna take 5 more poison, or go up to 5 poison. Well, I guess I just pass. I just keep what's on board. They can Memory Deluge if they'd like. My problem with them is they're gonna probably have to tap out to remove my stuff. They do nothing. They're Memory Deluge there. I think holding up mana is more terrifying than not. Temporary Lockdown. Could be counterspell. You can get one of these if they'd like. I have to assume it's a counterspell. I can't imagine it's anything else. I would imagine they waited a turn. But if it's not, I'm going to feel really good about this. If it is, it just is what it is. Sure. Let's return this. Land, we can go to the bottom. It's gone. You get my 2 tokens, sure. If it was a Mirrex, we'd probably leave it, just because of the way that like Mirrex works. But now we're going to play the Hive, and we're going to play the Chorus back down. Now if they lock down, we can actually, weirdly enough, the way that this card works, this card's so messed up. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. This is typically always used to kind of bounce a creature, because it's what makes the most sense a lot of times. But if they go like temporary lockdown again, we can always bounce it on their end step or attempt to, and that's just like a really devastating play, because then we get our stuff back immediately. Hive is important, that's for sure. Get Lost has made Hive a lot worse against these control decks, but still typically pretty good nevertheless. I'll go to combat first. We don't care about hitting them for more combat damage per se. Sure. We have to make another token, so we're not that upset about it. Let's see if we can't hit a land here. Ew. Decord's a good one. Do this. Stomp. More lands. More lands equal more devastation. Play Duelist. They're running low on cards. This is really good with Duelist because it makes it a 3-2, and that first strike's going to be devastating for these man lands, as it will pop them out of the way. They play another land. They could Field of Ruin my Seed Core, though. That is something they could do. My opponent tanked on Depopulate for some reason. But, you know, I can't save him. Wow. Alright. Duelist? Offside. Then we're good. If they would have field ruined when they kind of highlighted it, because they were highlighting it right then and there, I would have just been able to pop a map token on this duelist. Let's grab an island. Island good. I like island. Here we go. What did you draw? Control, there's a high chance it was a land, but who knows? We're just hoping our hive can take over. We do have a... Is this a non-land permanent? Ooh, that does kind of suck. Because it actually can't bounce the anchorage. A sunfall, me. Makes sense. That's really funny. Let us play a Rot Priest. Card they don't really want to see at any point. Practice on here. March seems good. Right here. The reason we're targeting here so much is so this can actually trade with the anchorage. Generated Rot Priest is actually pretty good, just holding back on its own. We technically have 2 more poison on them. If they spot remove our Rot Priest, then it's 3 poison. So they can target our Rot Priest with a spell. We bounce it. We get a poison. We replay it. We have a poison. But they also have to be able to get rid of this thing. Who knows? Maybe they ripped another Sunfall. Ooh, no, they did not. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure. Again, this is highlighting. We cannot remove this. It does specifically say a non-land permanent, so this land creature is still good. What is your play with this? You're going to activate your map on it. And of course, I don't think we give them even the opportunity here. I think we just bounce it and poison them. We have a march to now protect our creatures. Let's double poison them up. Oh, wait, never mind. They're dead. I forgot how this works for a second. And we'll triple poison. I was like, oh, yeah, they target Rot Priest. They lose. It's for every single creature you have, not just Rot Priest. They don't have to target Rot Priest, any of them. Because Rot Priest was an okay Magic the Gathering card they printed for us to have fun with and play on Arena. There's a lot to like about this hand. We have a bounce spell, which we can play right away. And then we have a duelist and a charging the might plus kind of protection, so I'll keep us. Also, Mirror is really good. Sorry, I was eating a pretzel. And very busy. Here comes my duelist. We could have waited a turn, but I think getting it down and ready to go right away better. Don't be a lightning helix. 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 Please, 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 please. Please. Try a lightning helix. Be a lightning strike. Could be a play with fire. Could be anything that does damage and it will kill our duelist. Okay. Combat. I guess I should have played the Merrick, huh? Attack. Okay. Sure. Well. Yeah, I have a couple of choices. They could Knight Errant Views here, which is good. Don't get me wrong. But the thing that we're happy about is if they do that, we get to charge the mites and then bounce the Knight Errant. And we are looking good. Yeah. In theory, we could remove this, but we're not really that concerned, I think. A lot of damage, but we have a lot of poison as well. Poison. Poison for poison. So I'll play this. We'll make a mana for blue. I guess it doesn't really. I think I want to have a better performance in this regard. If we bounce out, obviously that's good for them to an extent. Oh, it's a 3 or less, it proliferates. So it wasn't going to proliferate there. Well, we play the Hive. Hive is a little dangerous, but the Duelist will hit first, giving our stuff lifelink after. So we go up to 22, and now we get to see what happens. We have like one good draw. Kind of two good draws, but really like one. Or we could win here. Which, if they don't have a land, I think we do. Wow, we win here. That's crazy. Look how many creatures they have, and they're going. No, I don't win here. Or I do, right? I attack for. No, I don't. This is the way my mana is working out. That sucks. That's so annoying. Bounce this. I don't have another blue for this. If I had another blue, I won because I would bounce this, proliferate, and then hit him for more. So we will play like a Duelist. And then we're just in there. I want to buff it. Do I just do it to keep it behind? I think so. Like, it's not as much life that I gain, but I still gain a lot. But I also keep another creature behind, so they have to keep up every creature. They either have to attack out for lethal and win, or they have to do anything else, but also they have to have a removal spell because I have at any point to proliferate and win. It's been like a really weird game that I feel like I should never win because I should always just have creatures behind to block. But at the same time, they've like never had creatures back to block. And it's kind of crazy to think about. Sure, do that. Attack, flip this. I'll just snare this and I will proliferate for 1. Yeah. Bounce. That will proliferate, we will submit, and we'll win. Wow. I did not expect Poison to be able to come out and win a match against Convoke at any point, kind of ever, to be honest. As soon as they like played the flash creature, I was like, yeah, we probably lose here. And then we won, which was crazy to think about. Okay. My videos, by the way, are going to be slightly shorter than normal because I am having to run a team event, a paper team event, where we're playing Modern, Pioneer, and Standard at Apex. You guys can check it out for future events. We're planning on doing a team event for every one of our Apex Invitationals that we're hosting, which they will be streamed. This one will not be, but in the future they will be streamed, and it qualifies you for like a $20,000 tournament if you're interested in maybe coming out to Ohio and playing in one of those. You know, is what it is. But we played Bant Poison here. I know a couple people bringing this deck list tomorrow to the team event, so I wanted to play it, and I definitely think this deck has a place in the meta. You do get a lot of easy counters. Like if you hate control, buddy, let me tell you what. You know what control hates more than aggro that gets under them too quick? Poison that they can never get rid of. So this is honestly kind of the deck that we end up farming that list with. A lot of things can happen that goes our way. A lot of cards they have to counter. If they don't, it's very complicated for them to end up winning. We just stagger them like 2 turns, and that ends up being enough. Cards like Skrelv's Hive are really hard to deal with. Mirix is hard to deal with. Even Charge the Mites is hard to deal with because every time there's hit, that's just like I said in the game, it's 10% of their life total. Every single time one hits. It's 10% and it's permanent. There's nothing they can do about it. So that's very cool. Also, like Rot Priest is pretty hard for them to deal with, and it's just a good time. So outside of that, this is all I really have for you. I'm gonna keep the outro short. I've played Poison quite a couple times. This one did well in a challenge a while ago. It's a lot harder to play now because Convoke's so prevalent and they put so many creatures in your way. Do I think this deck's worth crafting? Unsure. And the reason why I say that is because, like, out of decks to craft, like, the lands are obviously awful, but like lands, I always recommend crafting lands. Like, you don't really have to have these, or you probably, I don't think this deck is the best deck you can be playing at the end of the day. Let me put it that way. I will say, if you happen to have a lot of it, all these are commons and uncommons. So it's actually pretty high on the commons and uncommons chart. And if you play best of 3, a lot of your sideboard tends to be commons and uncommons as well, besides these, which are kind of important. And the sentries, the welcomes. I like welcomes a lot. I actually like playing them in best of 1 because it helps you draw more cards a lot more frequently. And sometimes in best of 1, you have to be finding cards some way. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all later in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.